Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another podcast episode of Insights by Outside X Season 2. Now, this time again, we are here with yet another esteemed speaker who will be gracing us today. He is an XLRI PGDM. He also has worked with the Ministry of IT to launch a lot of e-governance initiatives, including Aadhaar, and has worked with a lot of brand names, including Genpact, including Hexaware, and including Encore. So I welcome Mr. Sougata Sen to the podcast today, sir. We're honored to have you.
Thank you, Ayush, for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. So we wanted to delve a little into the campus recruitment phase that you've been heading for a very long time, sir, and get your insights into what the process looks like and what a person who is actually supposed to be an IPM aspirant and is an IPM student should look at while trying to start their corporate journey as well. So, sir, my first question to you in itself with Hexaware itself, sir, is that sir, Hexaware right now has as I read reports the last time I came across a profile, and over the course of 2020 to 2023, I realized that a brand report came out wherein Hexaware's brand value was increased by 60% to about $600 million. So I was extremely taken aback by this tweet. I wanted to ask you how exactly that came to be, because we are trying to create a brand as well, and we wanted to get your expert insights onto how to do that.
Right. Yeah, so I may not be the right person because, it was basically a team, the whole group, the whole team behind Hexaware did that.
That's
But one of the basic few fundamentals which I like to say is have belief in yourself, understand what the client wants, and focus on delivering to the client, along with focus on quality and timely deliverables. So Hexaware as a brand or Hexaware, we believe in focusing for our client deliverables. And so client is the primary focus along with our employees. So for each individual, for me also, I always trying to see that what I can do for the person in front of me.
That's
How I can give them the maximum satisfaction, maximum benefit. That is the way you build your brand value.
Right, sir. Because I was stalking entire Hexaware LinkedIn page yesterday, and I found out that Hexaware has gotten into a lot of avenues, maybe AWS, maybe AI, and has been partnered with a lot of institutions. Now, maybe to launch events or maybe to host webinars, and has been very active in the whole situation of social media and LinkedIn and having a positive impact on the world. And very recently, Hexaware's LinkedIn account also crossed 1 million followers, which I felt was a phenomenal achievement. And I'm trying to figure out how we can achieve the same as well. So I wanted to ask you, sir, what role does a company culture play in trying to expand into more avenues? Because like tools like AI came out, and the tools like VR also come in as very new tools that come in the industry. You have to hire a lot of specific skills and a lot of people with specific outlook towards their life and work as well. So how does a recruitment in this phase help Hexaware as well, sir?
Right. So there is this famous saying by Peter Drucker which says culture eats strategy for breakfast. And believe or not, we have that as part of our PPT.
Right, sir.
So we believe that we can have the best of the strategy in place, but we will not be successful till we have the culture behind it. So our focus is always on culture, people empowerment, and ensuring that each and every team members of our group is having the maximum opportunity to rise and grow.
Right.
That is the way we do that. So if the whole team, if the individual grows, the team grows. If the team grows, the business grows. If the business grows, the company grows.
Right, sir.
It's a granular approach we have.
Right, sir.
Like that. That is how we are looking at building the brand across, and we are growing further on that. That's
Right.
our focus.
So, sir, getting into your philosophy behind HR as a subject. So, you have been a part of, you've been an alum of XLRI, which is one of the best institutes for HR management as well. And you have been head of campus recruitment for such a long time that you're really someone we would look up to in order to, learn more about campus recruitment. So, sir, what is your philosophy behind campus recruitments, and what are the possible red flags that you look at whenever you approach a campus recruitment process?
Right. So when we go for any campus placements, any campus recruitment, see, each and every student for us is special, right? And there is a lot of scope, and we basically look at the potential of each and every student. So what we basically look at is that how open is the student, how flexible is he, what's the attitude the student is having, what's the what is his outlook towards work.
Right.
Is he open to new challenges? Is he open to grow? Is he or she open to grow? Is he or she open up to learn new things, or go along with whatever they have, bringing from earlier past experiences? So we look for people who's ready to, imbibe into our culture, our values, our beliefs, ethics, and learn to grow along with us. So we look for people who are team players, who've got great communication skills, good presentation skills, have got a can-do approach, and not, ready to walk alone in the path.
Right, so right, so I think there are a lot of parameters here that you would evaluate a candidate on, which are extremely intuitive, and I'm sure would be based on a lot of experience also. But sir, in the age where a lot of B schools are also, even we are being taught how to make a CV, and a couple of words that we know will look good on a CV, but doesn't necessarily translate if you're going into a specific role or going into an interview with a role. So how would, in the age of ATS, is are you able to differentiate between a good candidate and a perfect fit candidate for your firm?
Right. See, a certificate, when we say you get a certificate, you get basically a degree.
Right.
That's an education.
Hmm.
All 100% of the students will have degree, but how many of them actually the knowledge?
Right.
That's the challenge. So first is always, obviously, the toll gate is the resume.
Right.
So what I would always suggest to each and every one of the student is look at the JD, understand the requirement, understand the keyword, revise your resume accordingly so that it highlights the maximum where you have done it.
Right.
So it will show that what are the areas you have done based upon the keywords of the JD. So
Right.
once you have once you have cleared the ATS gate, so ATS is basically looking at the keywords of the JD. It matches. If it is more than 80%, you are selected for the next round.
Right.
Once you have done that, then you have a face-to-face interview of the person with the HR interviewer or a technical interviewer. That is the time where you get an opportunity to learn and understand what the company is looking for.
Right.
And that time you have to decide, okay, the company is looking for ABC, and how am my existing skills, my existing knowledge is helping that ABC to go further.
Right.
So whether it's a pure match or not, or we have to do something extra to get up to that level,
Right.
that is the time. So I always encourage students to do some research about the company, what the company wants, what has been the market scenario, what the market is telling about the company, and what are the role expectations of that job before you actually apply.
Right. In this situation as well, the first barrier to entry for any company would also be the ATS and the percentage match that happens with any company's job description. So, sir, what are some of the clear situations where you feel like this is something that is prerequisite for my company only, and these are some things which people usually do which are wrong. Something like using the same resume for a lot of companies and not specifying, not making a specific resume for a targeted JD. What are other things you feel like people or in campus recruitments do wrong that they should rectify better?
For example, obviously they should quantify if they've done a project, they should
Right.
quantify the
Right.
project.
Hmm.
If they say I've done improvement, you have done improvement by what is the quantity numbers?
Hmm.
If say improvement by 2x, 3x, or 15%. Quantify the numbers. Try to put a amount to the figure if you can.
Hmm.
Otherwise, say that if you are not able to quantify it, say what was the end result.
Right.
If it was an improvement in quality, it was an improvement on the timelines or deliverables,
Hmm.
mention that.
Right.
Do not give an open statement.
Right.
So that is one. Secondly, we obviously do not like for resumes which are same format, same language everywhere. We have seen that. We obviously do not. We feel that that individual does not have any creativity. It is just a copy paste. So we do not try to encourage such people.
Right.
Thirdly, when you're writing something about a project which you have done in your curriculum, you should know what was the end goal of the project.
Right.
What was the final result of the project. Not
Right.
only because what was my responsibility in that. So I may be a team member of 4 and I was just one part. So I should be aware of 100%, not 25% of the project.
Right.
That's what we look at. Basically, these are the basic things. Other than
Right.
the other knowledge and attitude, aptitude, general awareness of the current affairs and all.
Right, sir. So, like speaking from like personal experience, a lot of things like managing a budget for a club or a university cell, things like you have created a project and you pitched to a certain company, like we have done in our internships as well. You pitched to a lot of companies as well, and over the course of the last year, I have personally pitched to angel investors over at IP as well, which is a university very close to here, and we've interacted with people who are Forbes 30 under 30 and have also big ventures. So one thing that I feel even I should be doing in my resume is quantifying them by a long level. Things like I feel which would be very beneficial for the viewers as well would be something along the lines of telling exactly what quantitative impact you have had. Something like if you've held an event, what was the total budget, how much contribution have you had, what was the footfall, any situation where we can quantify the situation as well. So sir, delving into the same topic, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about what roles do clubs and cells, university clubs and cells play in a resume for a campus placement? Is there a special emphasis laid on that, or is it more on academics and first round being a GPA based assessment and then university and cells come into play?
Yeah, so if you are part of the clubs and associations, obviously during the ATS it doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay, until unless it is mentioned in the job description. It will matter during the face-to-face interviews because that will give us an idea that that person is a team player, that person is ready to take up a challenge, or that person is a leader, that person is a orator, that person is a good communication or a good presenter. That gives us an idea, okay, we are looking for such people who always want to be the tip of the spear. Not everybody can be a tip of the spear. Somebody has to be the body of that. So we always look for people who can be the front face and who can be one level below. So that helps us to identify those people.
Right, sir. I think at the same time, while trying to be the tip of the spear, people also learn a lot about stakeholder management. Because as someone who was trying to do a lot of things over the past 1.5 years, I've had to interact with the registrar, the vice chancellor, trying to get sorted with the professors first, and then talking with the team as well. So everything like managing a team that is younger than me and in my age group, which is volatile at the same time, getting a written receipt signed every time we have to get access to a room. That also helps a lot with like the appreciation over stakeholder management as well. Because when we work in a lot of companies, we are responsible for clients, we're responsible for a lot of deliverables that go out, which require us to report to someone, which require us to manage someone, and require us to have a lot of skills inherently as well. So along the same lines, I wanted to ask you, sir, what is the emphasis laid on specific skills to be taken up, or is it more emphasis laid on the amount of managerial activities that you have taken in when it comes to campus placements?
Yeah, it's a mix of both. Okay. For example, when you said stakeholder management. Stakeholder management for your level at this rate is basically internal stakeholders.
Right, sir.
Right, you are saying about the colleges and all that stuff. So when you go out, when you interact with VCs or other external clients and all, that's an external stakeholder.
Right, sir.
Internal stakeholders will know you, so you have got a comfort level.
Right.
External stakeholders you don't know. You're an unknown brand. To create a positive image when it's an unknown brand, that means that you have to do some research about the market, what the market demands wants, and how is your services or how is your product is going to meet that demand. So you should be ready with whatever you're offering to the end client. So stakeholder management is basically definitely important in that. And what was the second part of the question?
So something that we are essentially most importantly looking for, that is it stakeholder management that we're looking for, managerial activities, or just the skills? Like you've said that's a confluence of.
It's a base. See, stakeholder management means that you can manage a team,
right.
You can manage a service, you can manage various toll gates and in areas of delivery at whatever time and money and cost is required.
Right.
So when you're responsible for output, when you're responsible for manpower, when you're responsible for financial cost, it means that you're responsible for as an overall manager.
Right.
So you're responsible for the budgeting, from the manpower output to the time deliverable. So basically, time and money is equal to.
Right.
That's what.
Being a very good candidate also means that you have a good institution behind you. That means you've also contributed towards the building of that institution.
Institute can only go up to a certain level.
Right, sir. Right.
End of the day, it is each and every student who matters.
Right, sir.
So not 100% of the students who come out of great institutes, they are all the same quality.
Right.
They are. It's basically back to the individual person, how much that person is able to take, what the institute has to offer.
Right, sir. Actually, this is something that I have been thinking about a lot, sir, because even in top-notch engineering institutes like IIT Bombay, you will find an entire cohort of people which are of varied skills and various mindsets and various amount of power that they have over what skills that they use. So in this case, we're also seeing a lot of third-party recruitments as well, sir, where rather than simply going to campuses, a lot of companies put over job postings, head over to LinkedIn. And in this scenario, sir, we're also seeing a slight shift in the way people recruit as well, sir. So what is your opinion over campus recruitments at the same time having a lot of job posts outside in the world of social media as well, sir?
Right. See, I think first and foremost, what we do directly hire from the campuses.
Right.
Okay. Now what happens, we have already gone to, say, there are 10 campuses in the city. We've already gone to the 10 campuses. Numbers are not fully met. So instead of again going to furthermore 10 campuses, we do an open job posting.
Right, sir.
So in open job postings, our target is basically, usually a company target has two. To cater to a larger market and also cater to those students who already had an offer, okay, who could not, who is looking out for an alternate option.
Right, sir.
So we basically look for people with a wider pool of people.
Right, sir.
And we did not have to go to, say, 5 colleges. So maybe from 5 colleges, we got 500 students. If we put a job posting, we get, say, 5,000.
Right, sir.
So it gives us a wider choice to pick and choose.
Right, so step one being getting to the campuses that you already know are going to give us quality people, and if there is still a delta that needs to be met, that delta is then met by the job posting.
Exactly.
Absolutely, sir. So this actually helped us a lot in my understanding of campus recruitment.
Suddenly, if there are the last minute requirements, for example, I've given a target of 100.
Right.
I'm already said at 95. Suddenly I've given a requirement another 120.
Right.
So at that point, if I go to the colleges, the placements will already be over. I'll get only 10% of the students. So if I do a job posting, at least I'll get 40 to 50% of the students outside who are looking out on social media.
Right, sir. Because I understand that your timeline is also very important thing, right? Because now you've gone and taken up students, the campus drive will go on for the whole week, and a lot of students will be picked up via the companies by time. So
one suggestion I would like to make, Ayush, is once the students get selected,
yes,
they should not wait for things to happen. They should keep on learning new things, new technologies, new certification, keep themselves busy.
Right.
Basically, each and every student should try to make a brand for themselves.
Right.
They should not wait for some company XYZ to be a part of that brand.
Right, sir.
Okay.
Right.
So nowadays, because of the uncertainty in the market, the onboardings get delayed or the positions get changed from two different locations. Students should be ready for such challenges, such changes at a short notice of time, because the industry is changing.
Right.
Right. We had a recession which happened in 2008. It got affected everywhere. After that, COVID came. That was the second global phenomenon after the Second World War.
Right.
Now this again sort of a market correction, recession is happening. So students should be ready for changes and not wait for things to happen. If something is not happening, that is not in my control. What I can do, let me make myself better. Learn some new technologies, new tools, new certifications. So that when the opportunity comes to join, next time you are a better person than what you were.
Right, sir. So I mean, universities for every student needs to make themselves battle hardened, so that by the time a company says that we would like to work, you would like to work with us, and that situation should make them feel like I need to even scale up further so that I'm a bigger asset to the team.
Exactly.
Right, sir. And I'm really glad that you brought up this point, because I wanted to delve into the second part of my questions, which were more into what happens after a student has gotten into a company. So, in your opinion, what's the best thing that a student should do right after they've started, that they've had the joining into the company, they've already stepped into campus? What are the best things that a student can do in the first week at a new company?
They should first, not on the first week, I would say first 2 years or 1 year, keep their eyes and ears open. It should just be one-way traffic. Learn and understand. What are the different processes, different values, different ethics about the company? What is the expectation of the? Talk to the seniors, the super seniors, talk to the leaders, understand what the company expects, where the company is growing. Then second year onwards, you start to put forward value, because suddenly your student fresher comes and start to suggest changes. It may be good, but that student has not yet proved himself or herself. So understand the process, prove yourself, then come out with suggestions and all that. So first 1 year, just learn. And I would suggest a student should look at the first company which he or she has joined. They should not look at it as the first job. They should look at it as a career. So I should stick around at least in this company in at least 3 to 4 years.
Right.
Understand, any student who has left the first job within 1 year, 1.5 years, is taken as we consider him or her as a fresher only. We don't consider that experience.
Okay, this was a very nuanced answer.
Somebody is leaving a job within 1 year, means that person has not learned anything.
Right, sir.
So we also look at that sort of, what is the approach of that student? Is he serious?
So even in the definition of having being in a company for 4 years, by that if you were to create a roadmap, the first 2 years would essentially be dedicated to making yourself absolutely invaluable to the company, wherein you are at the center of a lot of work. By that logic, a lot of seniors end up trusting you more. The senior officials and the C-suite executive feel like you are someone that can be trusted with more work, and essentially though you end up rising in the corporate ladder as well.
True.
Absolutely. So is there anything more that you feel that a person who is new should do in the situation as well, to further enhance or skyrocket their journey into the company as well? Because a lot of people end up being ambitious and very impatient and end up hijacking what they're supposed to do by acting too early.
See, what happens, many of the students, they wait for instructions to be given. That's
Right.
good.
Right.
You should be given for instruction, but you can also make things happen. You can go to the project manager and say that, okay, I want to do some training on, say, quality, or I am further interested in doing a training on, say, certification and say coding or AI/ML or something,
Right.
which is going to help you. So don't look at always the vertical. Look at the horizontal growth also.
Right.
So come out to the manager and say, I would like to do some further courses. And I'm sure 99.9% of the time the management will support that person, because this shows that the person is interested in growing further in the company.
Right, sir.
Don't wait for instructions. Try to act on your own.
Right,
Self-initiative.
even in this place, I feel like horizontal learning, like you mentioned, is a very important value.
Very important.
Because even right now, as we're recording this, after we're done with recording, we'll have to get someone to help us with editing. We'll have to learn marketing to market this better. After that, before you came inside, we had to learn copywriting in order to create our own scripts, because we don't use GPT for any of our scripts, because that creates a very generic output.
True.
So it's a horizontal learning in the self would have to start from the university itself. Every person has to take his or her own initiative to build their own skills in a lot of parallel fashions as well, and have a big spike in one of the skills as well.
True.
So that they can end up joining company with their big spike, as well as start to be invaluable after they have shown their superiors as well that they have a lot of horizontal skills as well. So rather than only being restricted to one domain, they could probably in the age after 2021 they could probably come and say, I want to learn AI/ML as well, so like you said, and actually end up having the opportunity to switch lanes after some point of time as well.
We always look for all-rounders.
Right, sir. Right.
See, that's why in the 2011 we won the World Cup, because there were so many all-rounders we had.
Right.
So I will give you one example. So when you join a startup, you have to do a lot of other activities. You cannot be a specialist.
Right.
From my own experience, when I started my career, I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get this bundle of advertisements and go to the newspaper vendors to insert them in the newspapers. Right. So that you get these brochures in the newspaper. So I've done that.
Right.
We have done cold calling, you've gone to the market, and we have done so. Until as you learn, you play every role, you will not be able to grow as an all-rounder.
Right.
So you should not say that I'm a finance student, so I can only do portfolio management or investment banking. I'm not ready to sell financial services or products. That should not be the outlook.
So I think this actually struck a vein with me as well, sir, because even as latest as our last internship drive, I sent out about 200 cold emails to a lot of people, because our we were based on only figuring out where am I supposed to land. So whichever company I could come across, I would email them and LinkedIn DM them as well. Ki, hello sir, this is me. These are my skills, and I have done this. This is my impact quantified as well. And I just realized that it's a very difficult process as well, sir, because the hit rate is abysmally low. If I send out 200 emails, the response I get will be max 20. If on a good day,
that's good actually. 20 to get.
So that's one thing I want to speak about as well, sir, because starting your own attribution of cold calling, with putting out your own advertisements is a very hefty process as well, sir. So as someone who is an IPM first year or an IPM second year who is trying it for the first time now, what would your tips to them be to create a better hook for them, or to have a better hit rate than at least I did?
See, there is no magic mantra for that.
Right.
Formula number 1, be ready for rejection. 99% of the time you are going to be rejected, or either you will get rejected or there will be no response. Right. From the client. You should not lose heart or focus, get demotivated. Continue doing that. End of the day, you just need that one person to respond. You don't need 200 people.
Right.
If you have sent 200 emails, you did not expect. If you need even one person who will come out of it, you're a winner.
Right.
So, till the time you do that, and if you do 200 mails, you feel that you have not got any response, maybe look at the email which you have sent. Change the content if required.
Right.
Okay. Maybe a new set of targets you are approaching. Change the content, make your email more appealing to that target segment. So you should understand the demography of the target market, whom you are approaching, targeting.
Right.
Then only, say in marketing terms, we say that if you are approaching a target, you should know what is the demographic trend. Okay. Right. So understand that. If it's the youngsters, if it is a middle person, if it's a mostly diversity kind of people, accordingly, then target them. How is that going to help to that particular market segment?
Right.
Change your strategy. It should be an agile way of working. Changing strategy and be ready for rejections. That's the only way.
Right, so even here I realized that just the small process of cold mailing, which even people say it should be easy, it's really not, because in one process you have to figure out who I have to reach out to in a set company, how I can get their contact details without violating their privacy. You have to go on LinkedIn, you have to figure out third-party tools, and then craft the best message that should grab their attention, that should give them value and feel like this person would be a good asset to my team. So this forms like the very end of a very long process, which would involve upskilling, which would involve, like you said, so horizontal learning as well, and then bundling them up in one package where you say, sir, this is a great package that you should probably evaluate with other candidates as well. So the entire process of cold mailing essentially boils down to presenting yourself in a very in a fashion that makes you invaluable to the person that you're.
You should ideally, Ayush, what you should do is, when you're writing a mail,
right,
the mail should not be very long.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Within the first 2 or 3 lines, maximum 4 lines, it should be impactful. It should catch the eye of the person. Otherwise, even the first 4 or 5 lines, if the person do not find anything useful, they will not read the rest of the mail.
Right, sir.
Okay, so try to, in the first 4 or 5 lines, try to get the attention of the person so that they read the rest of the mail also.
Right.
So how is that going to impact them?
Right, sir.
Okay, so catch the attention of the person, then you go plan ahead.
Right, sir. So for someone who actually would be on the receiving end of a lot of cold emails, I wanted to ask you this question, like for my benefit also. What are some of the things that you would actually look out for in a cold email? Like you said, the first 4 lines have to be extremely impactful, need to be quantitative, and need to show that you're a good asset. But sir, what other things that are something that you would personally look out for if you were to receive a cold email that should be the best thing that could come?
See, obviously, I get hundreds of requests and all that.
Right,
So obviously, I find that if it is relevant, is it relevant to me? If not, is it relevant to something which I'm working on?
Right.
Yeah, I find that it is not relevant to me or what I'm working on. Then I find the intention of that person is basically to grow with me too. So that person is looking at my support.
Right.
And if the person is genuine, say I want to grow and I'm looking up to you for support, then I know that this is what the person wants. He or she is clear what he or she wants. I respond to that person.
Right, sir.
I do not respond to vague cold emails without any subject matter, without any understanding what the person, what the matter is all about.
Right, sir.
Like that, you should not be on a fishing expedition hoping that something will come.
Right, sir. So even each bait that you have to put out has to be tailor made to make someone feel like this is something I would
Yes,
associate
exactly.
myself with.
You should make that person feel that you are the center of the attraction.
Right.
You're the center of the world for that person.
Right, sir. So I think, sir, in your role as well, I have seen that you have focused a lot on community development, creating good policies that foster growth as well, and you've also talked about allowing and actually empowering your employees to upskill as well, sir. So I wanted to ask you this in a slightly more institutional setup, that if you were to create your own curriculum for HRM at Nalsar, what nuances would you bring and say that this part I realize ki in the real world doesn't work. I would like to replace this and put this in instead. What would some of those insights be, sir?
Okay. See, obviously, it has to go hand in hand, theory and practical knowledge, right?
Right, sir.
So, what we find out is that basically what the students are missing out is on the soft skills.
Right.
So when we say soft skill, it is basically the presentation skills, the communication skills, the flexibility, the mindset. It's basically the mindset change.
Right, sir.
So I would like to try to do it instead of being too much of theoretical. I would like to make it more, what do you call it, interactive sessions. Okay, more of industrial exposure. So what the industry actually wants for compared to what we actually ready. See, if there is a mismatch between what the education sector is giving and the one the industry wants, there is always going to be a challenge in doing the placement. So have it much more interactive, understand the challenges outside, then build it. Otherwise, what happens? The students are there cocooned from the outside challenges world, and if they are not prepared when they suddenly enter the world, they are in a shock.
Right, sir.
Okay, so that time they lose focus, they lose their jobs, they get into depressions and demotivation happens. So be ready for the industry outside. And how can we do that? By interacting more. Attend those HR sessions, seminars, guest lectures, presentations, do internships, small part-time projects, get some mentor who's going to guide you into that. So all these activities will make that person a better all-rounder when the person is actually ready to go out in the market.
So you're suggesting a more holistic approach to approaching any situation or any given job role.
Exactly.
Right. So to figure out your own mentor, maybe a professor, maybe someone who's senior to you as well. So to figure out what they feel the best industry changes are going to be.
You should look at everybody cannot be a mentor.
Right.
A mentor should be somebody who is ready to pass on the knowledge to you and who is open to push you up to be in the spotlight and stay behind. And so look for somebody who can add value to you and who does not see you as a threat later on. So you have to be very particular when you are looking at a mentor.
Right, sir. But this is something that I feel like is a very nuanced approach to seeking mentorship as well. Because I feel like as someone who would be seeking mentorship, I would be looked at as a clean slate, because I'm someone that has to learn more before I can imbibe my learnings onto the world. Because I need to, like you said, in the first 2 years as well, absorb as much as you can, become invaluable to the institution, to where you're going, and then try to add value after you've earned your name and you've shown them that not only do you have the skills that are required, but you also are a team player in this case as well. So I wanted to again, this just for the benefit of our viewers as well, who would be IPM aspirants and other IPM students as well, something that you would like to advise a fellow IPM student, which is at the start of his IPM career, because you just inducted the 23-28 batch as well. So something that you would like to add on as a final word of advice to them to nudge them in the right direction for their best career path out there.
As I was telling them during the session, till date they have been asked what to do and how to do. Ask the question why. If they are aware that whatever subject they are studying, whatever work they are doing, whatever activity they are doing, what is the end result of that?
Right.
What is the big picture? Then they will take more ownership and pride of the work,
Right.
and they'll be a better person.
Right. So
Ask questions, clear your doubts. Don't be scared. That's what I say.
Right. I feel like a lot of the learnings that we would as seniors like to invite to juniors as well as experiment a lot, because even OSX outside the venture that I'm currently the co-founder of, I realized that a lot of it requires stumbling, falling a lot, failing a lot, and then figuring out this one piece of evidence that I use, or some piece of skill that I use that actually helped me grow a lot. So, sir, something that I've been thinking about for a very long time. I wanted to ask you, sir, entrepreneurship in the age of the universities and students right now, sir, does entrepreneurship actually add a lot of values in terms of campus placements in joining a company that they dream to join as well?
Yeah. So, who is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is somebody who is not scared to take a risk, who is not scared to walk alone in the path, okay? Who is not scared to go hand dirty in the mud, who is not scared to think big, and who is not scared to play a multitasking role. He has to take care of marketing, angel investors, delivery, financial service, everything. He has to look at that. So obviously that person who has started as not every entrepreneur will be a success. That's good, fine, but you have learned from that. And one thing is that spirit of that person is, that's the main thing. The entrepreneur spirit is the main attraction point, I would say, because that person says that I am not scared of any challenge. So obviously any company, I'm sure any company will be very happy to have that person, because it shows that he is standing alone from the rest of the crowd. As they said, the tip of the spear. We need somebody to be the tip of the spear.
Right, sir. Because I also realized that when you start your own venture, the final buck stops with you. Any downside.
You cannot pass on. You cannot pass.
Right,
on. And responsibility has to. You have to take You have to be responsible for your own action.
Right, sir.
And you have to learn and grow along with it.
Right, sir. Because I just realized as well, sir, because over the past 1.5 years, a lot of small things that I would not have learned otherwise, I was forced into me just because I was on this path. So,
there was a saying, I think somebody was inventing a light bulb or somebody. After 1,001 times he was successful. So he was asked that the past 1,000 failures, what are you not demotivated? He said, no, those are not past 1,000 failures. I learned how not to do that 1,000 way.
Right, sir.
So that's a learning. So how we look at a challenge. See, when you come across a challenge, you have two options. You go back, or you take up the challenge head on and try to circumvent the challenge. So basically the attitude and your approach towards any work.
Right, sir. It's the same saying, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Yeah, why not?
So I would like now to wrap this episode up with you as well. So if there's any final piece of advice I'd like to leave for me or the IPM students that you would
Yeah, I found that I met the students. The crowd is very good. They're very vibrant and all. I wish them all the best, and I say that keep on asking questions, keep on challenging yourself. Don't get stagnant and be happy with whatever. Don't be happy with status quo.
Right.
Always
right.
push for new challenges,
Right.
new beginnings, new frontiers.
Right, so over the course of the conversation, we have discussed everything from the applicant tracking system to fostering a good environment, and then cold emailing as well. And now we have wrapped it up with entrepreneurship as a good indicator towards campus placements as well. So I would like to thank you so much for coming, sir.
It's a pleasure.
This was one of the very amazing podcasts that episode that I have shot, and it's really opened my eyes towards campus placements as well. Now we're going to be sitting next year as well for our next drive of internships as well. So I'm going to be very aware of the tidbits that you have given me, and I'm going to use them in my next my drive as well. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Ayush, for inviting me, and wish the students all the very best.
So we would wrap this episode up as well of Insights by Outsiders. We will be bringing back another speaker, another set of insights that will help you supercharge your career, supercharge your skills, and like Sir said, give you a more horizontal view of life, and at the same time helping you become invaluable to a company. We will be back very soon with another episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Ayush Nigam. Thank you.